Shalom Yasharallah, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation, much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article that's on RT, dealing with basically the stock market starting to, go down, showing signs of going down, and also with, talks of this stimulus package. I think they're talking about if there's going to be another stimulus package, you won't see it till after Valentine's Day of next year, But nevertheless, they got this here so-called second wave. A lot of countries are already starting to go into lockdowns and things like that over the fear of the second wave of this coronavirus situation, all right? And as you can see already what's going on here in America with all the with the closures and things like that, a lot of small businesses pretty much went out of business because they were still having to pay rent, and yet they weren't able to be open for business, But nevertheless, these things are starting to take hold and take effect here on America, man. All right, now people are looking forward to these things beforehand. Everybody was screaming, oh, we need to lock things down. We need to stop folks from going to work or whatever, whatnot. When they was first bringing it out, where it was like the safer at home situation, where they didn't force you to stay at home. They was just like, well, it'd be wise just to stay at home, At that point in time, you had these American citizens that was basically pushing, oh, we need to stay home, we need to shut things down, and so on and so forth, But then after the long drawn out shutdowns, all right, people were starting to look at the financial repercussions of these things, all right? So let me read this here article. It says Dow down 800 points. Stock market plummets on fear of more lockdowns as global number of COVID-19 cases grow. It says global stocks dropped sharply on Wednesday amid investors' fear that rising coronavirus numbers in the United States and Europe could halt economic recovery. All right, because hey man, we're in the midst of a global economic meltdown. All right, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped over 800 points, or nearly 3% of at the opening on Wall Street. The S&P 500 and the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite were also trading down almost 3% at the time of this writing. European equity markets were also under pressure, with Germany DAX index and French CAC 40 nosediving over 4%. The FTSE 100 in London was down over 3%. The financial markets are still nervous about rising case numbers and the pandemic. Paul Donovan, chief economics at USB Global Wealth Management, said, and quoted by CNN, the concern is about the impact this may have on fear levels, either amongst consumers or amongst policymakers, all right? And again, just going into these things, people are starting to see what's coming down the pipe, and what? They're starting to like, hey, man, we can't, for one, you have people who had their 401ks and everything like this wind up losing their jobs. Matter of fact, while I was at work today, one of my customers was telling me, kind of like on a side note, I work kind of for a different company, for a company or whatever, whatnot. And they were like, you know what? My husband was told, the lady was talking to me. She was like, my husband was told to fly out to, another state or whatever, whatnot. He, I guess, travels for work. Said he was to fly out there, and they made him sign some paperwork pretty much, terminating him from his job. And they said, we'll call you back in a month or so, hopefully that goes through and everything, So, hey, they're looking, they didn't have the proudest look on their face, because they're looking like, damn, man, we got this nice house and everything like that, so on and so forth, but we might have to be moving because why? The lady's husband's job was going out the window, But nevertheless, you have these people that's looking forward to these things, whereas, like I said, they're living off their 401ks or whatever, whatnot. Or if you're invested in the stock market, all right, and if you're kind of wise about a lot of these things, and you, like, this is the way you make your money through the stock market. You know how to buy and how to sell, and when to buy and when to sell, and when these curves are coming. All right, so for instance, if let's say you trading in the airline situation, right, or the movie theaters or something like that, right, and with these lockdowns, well, they're going to shut down movie theaters, which is going to cause the stock prices of those movie theaters to lose value. So if your stock is $100, and then all of a sudden they shut down the movie theaters, and now that stock goes to $10, you done lost $90 in that situation. All right. But nevertheless, you have a lot of these people pulling their money out so they don't lose any more money or whatever, whatnot. But these are the fears that's coming upon the people. All right. It says daily U.S. coronaviruses have risen by a record average of 71,832 over the past week, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Coronavirus-related hospitalizations were up at least 10% in 36 states. Rising infection cases across Europe prompted concerns of even more restrictions in the region. French President Emmanuel Macron is set to give a speech in France later on Wednesday and could announce more lockdowns. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is considering closing all bars and restaurants in the country for 1 month starting in early November, according to Reuters. We were speaking about this when these first things started happening. They was telling you, oh, it's going to only be a shutdown for 2 weeks. Everybody need to stay at home for 14 days or whatever. Then that 14 days went to, all right, you need to stay home for the rest of the month. That month turned to 2 months, to 3 months, and so on and so forth, And it's brought us into this here economic meltdown that we're in right now. So let's just go into the scriptures. It's not going to be too long. But nevertheless, I'm going to start here. Second Ezra 6 and verse 18. It says, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them and what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion be fulfilled. And so right now, if you read in Second Ezra chapter 9, it says, measure the time diligently. And when you see these things, you shall well understand that it's the very same time when the Most High will begin to visit the earth. All right. Matter of fact, let me just read 1 through 4. He answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou see parts of signs past, which I told thee before, then thou shalt understand it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Now we're reading the same thing over in chapter 6. All right. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, all right, what you see in these uproars going on basically in every nation, all right, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right, so now let's go back to 2 Ezra 6 and 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and make an inquisition of them, or what they might be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, when the affliction of Zion be fulfilled. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. All right, so you have to understand, for one, the planet's not going to go nowhere, right? But nevertheless, the world as you know it, the things that you know it of, so if you're old enough to remember what life was like before September 11th, and the so-called freedoms you had, people could just walk around and do this and do that or whatever, whatnot. You didn't have all these cameras everywhere and tracking devices and everything like that, so on and so forth, Airports didn't have the TSA like how they have them now with all these scanners and everything. You know what I'm saying? You could go back, think about life before 9/11 and life after 9/11. That whole world vanished away. You didn't have all these freedoms. Now, if you could think about life 2019 versus 2020, all right, you didn't have to, you didn't have stores where they had please wear your mask, remember social distancing. Everything nowadays you got to have a mask on. It's almost a norm now. You go watch, news clips and videos of people in China, years back, everybody walking around with these damn masks on and everything like that. And people here in America would never think that would happen to them. But now that's a new norm here in America, man. All right, your normal life of just walking around with no mask on, and the way of life back, 2019, if you was to walk inside a store with a damn mask on, they was thinking your ass was robbing the store. Nowadays, you know what I'm saying? You walk inside the store, the police is liable to stop your ass for not having a mask on. All right. So now this here world is beginning to vanish away, man. A lot of people who had these so-called cush jobs and so on and so forth, making all this money in the stock market and everything. Hey, man, that's all gone, man. You had people that was working jobs 20, 30 years or whatever, whatnot, but because business is turning down, they getting laid off, man. All right. People, living their so-called better life or whatever, whatnot, and having these luxuries of life and, being able to go do whatever they want to go do, vacation where they want to go vacation, fly on a plane that's regular without having these seats in the middle, go out to restaurants and bars. They got a seating capacity, or we can only have so many people inside the building at a time or whatever, whatnot. All of that's gone, man. You can't just go into a restaurant where it's jam-packed, it's table by table and so on and so forth. You can't get on a city bus where, you can sit anywhere on the bus or anything like that, man. Now, everything is all pretty much locked down, man. Even your sports and everything, man, they got the damn little digital people on the screen nowadays, man. You don't even have a real crowd in a lot of these cases, man. All because of what? The so-called coronavirus situation is going on and the effects of it, man. All right. Verse 20 again, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be open before the firmament, and they shall see all together. All right. And really, again, going back to what? September 11th, man. This is when a lot of this here wickedness, this here in-game plan was really put into motion, man. It's been going on for a lot longer than that. But nevertheless, they've been pushing it at a rapid rate since then, all the way up until now, man. All right. let me jump down to verse 22. 22 through 24. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. All right, and we've seen a lot of these situations go on, especially with the farmers and things like that. These meat producing places or whatever, whatnot. Where they where they process the meat and everything like that. A lot of those companies had to get rid of a lot of their food and shut down and so on and so forth. But not just that, you have a lot of before all of this, you had a lot of these department stores, Sears or Kmart's and everything like that going out of business, Toys R Us going out of business. This was all before COVID-19. But now after COVID-19, like I said, a lot of these smaller businesses, all right, they had to shut their doors and, they were still forced to pay rent, still forced to pay for their insurance, still forced to pay for everything else. But nevertheless, they weren't able to be open to make any money. So just imagine having a restaurant and you got your food inside, if you ever worked in a restaurant, they got a walk-in freezer or whatever, whatnot, and they got like food in the back, you know what I'm saying, that they're going to have. And, every like maybe once a week, they get a shipment of food, depending on how the volume of their restaurant or whatever, whatnot, But just imagine, you got X amount of chicken wings or whatever, whatnot in the freezer and this and that, these meats and everything like that can go bad, that you don't want to have in there for too long, especially if you have a decent restaurant. They don't really keep meat inside the damn store that long. They get like, let's say steak or chicken. That shit's only in the restaurant for a couple of days before they, either throw it out or they get a new shipment, but more than likely they sell it. But just imagine, and again, working in restaurants, and if you ever see those order sheets, man, they're spending thousands of dollars for these shipments that's coming in once and twice a week, man. But guess what, though? That food still has an expiration date on it, man. All right, it's going to just be sitting back there. And some of these restaurants was closed for, a month, 2 months. So they had to throw away all that food. All right, then they got to reorder up some new food once they open back up. You know what I'm saying? They're still paying rent. All right, they had to take the loss on the food they had to throw out. Now they got to go and order new food to come in. They can only be open to a certain capacity. All right, and then at the end all be all, how people are going to be feeling safe to go out to these restaurants to eat anyway? All right, so this is driving a lot of these businesses out of business, And also you have a lot of other businesses that operate on a certain volume of certain things, like, let's say, for instance, airliner companies, man. The hotel companies and things like that, cruise liners and things like that, man. Oh, they project, we're going to have business like this and that for so long and so on, because this is how much people normally travel. But then you had the lockdowns and people can't really go anywhere. All right. And then, like, for instance, the cruise liners, nobody really trying to go on vacation like that, you know what I'm saying, and go on a cruise liner, unless they just dumb. I mean, we actually have some people like that here in Florida where we used to have camp at. We seen the cruise liner ships docked over there right behind us, and the people were stuck on them damn ships, man. All right. But nevertheless, going back into these businesses, man, this is driving a lot of these businesses out of business. So again, hey, you want to be invested into these companies, man, they're about to start losing out, man. All right. But at the same time, you see a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these mom and pop businesses out of business because they can't afford to stay open. So verse 22, and suddenly the sown places shall appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hears shall be suddenly afraid. All right. And so, hey, man, we'll grab this as well, too. But nevertheless, you have the fear of, the people are fearing of the things that's coming, as they talking about, oh, there could be a second lockdown, man. People are losing their wits because they already know the situation they're in now from the first lockdown. And they're like, damn, man, if we have another one, that's going to be it for us, man. All right. Verse 24, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right. So, hey, man, you have a lot of things in this, especially with these businesses that are just coming to a grinding halt. All right. So let's go to Ecclesiastes 12. I'm going to just start at the top. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasures in them. Going into, look, seek the Lord before you have these calamities and things like that, man. Also going into the famine of the word, how do you not know, that, let's say, for instance, when they had these shutdowns and everything, because, before that, people thought they was going to keep going to work, you know what I'm saying? Some people put in vacation, here it is, the lockdowns come around February, people would have already put in vacation for like June, July, or whatever, whatnot. Yeah, we about to go do this and about to go do that. Then all of a sudden the lockdowns come, man. All right. So all of a sudden you don't want to be like, oh shit, trying to scramble at the last minute with certain things. Same way with this here truth, man. You don't want to be putting these days off until the shit hits the fan, and then be trying to rearrange your situations to, how the scriptures say, Study to show thyself approved. You know, it's like a test, man. You don't want to try to cram all this information at the last minute as the teacher is passing out the test, man. All right, you want to, you know, the time allotted for you to be studying everything like that. You want to use all that time wisely, man. All right. Verse 2. When the sun and the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened or the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble. All right, and that's a lot of these you know, so-called, you know, you would say the heads of the households, but the more or the wiser people here that are like the investors and things like that, the movers and the shakers that make things go, business owners and things like that, you know, people that's heavily invested into, like, let's say, for instance, the airliners or whatever, whatnot, you know, they're looking at, you know, they read the article, they're like, what I was just reading, you know, and they look at this shit, talking, oh shit, a second lockdown, we about to lose heavy in the stock market, man. We about to lose heavy in this here business, you know, restaurant owners or whatever, whatnot. They read these type of articles, they're in fear. They're like, shit, if they have a second lockdown, we just had to take out a damn loan just to pay the bills, to keep the bills afloat right now. And if we lose this, then I got to go find me a damn job. And it ain't no jobs out there because ain't nobody going to work. So, you know, let me read it again. Verse 3, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low. And so you have this here scenario where everything is coming to a grinding halt. And you have, again, I say that the wiser the people, not like, you know, your regular everyday ass Jake, you know what I'm saying, who don't understand the repercussions of a lot of these things. Like, so second lockdown, hey, we got more time off or whatever. Well, you're not really a business owner. You don't really think about how this is going to cripple your business, or you're not invested in the stocks. You don't realize how you're about to lose all your savings or whatever, whatnot, you know? Or if you just, you know, got some kind of, let's say you have, you know, like a house, a mortgage and shit like that. You got bills to pay and kids and so on and so forth. And they shut you up out of your job and you weren't able to go to work for so long. You see articles like this and you're like, damn, I just barely made it. Now all of a sudden you're about to have another shutdown. I don't know how we're going to make this shit, man. You know? Going back to verse 4, and the door shall be shut in the street when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. You know, going into that, you know, you have hell, even the celebrities are feeling this here crunch, man. You got them, how you say, not to say out of shape, but they're looking all out of whack because they can't go out and get their normal grooming and everything like that. You have a lot of these, let's say, comedians that can't go out on stage because, wow, they got the little COVID restrictions and everything. You can't have mass gatherings and stuff like that. So if you can't have a mass gathering, where are people going to sit in the crowd to watch your comedy special? All right. If you can't have a mass gathering, how are you going to have a concert? You know, and when you go into the music industry and stuff like that, the majority of these artists make their money off of tours. All right. You know, the music and stuff. This is why they play the song on the radio back to back to back to back to back to back. They pay for that shit for advertisement. All right. To advertise this artist to make you like the song or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's all the advertisement, but the money comes in from what? The concerts and tours and things like that, man. All right. But if you can't have these mass gatherings, then, you know, how are you going to be an artist and going on tour, man? All right. Let me jump down. Actually, this wasn't where I was looking for. This is Isaiah chapter 24. Well, I can start at verse 4. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. You know, because you had these people that was walking around all proud and they 401k stock market doing good, it's better than ever, and so on and so forth. All of a sudden, everything take a tank and a crash, man. People got their little businesses and everything like that, and then all of a sudden they all shutting their doors. You know, people was all proud and doing this and doing that. You know, there's a lot of these damn. And you see it right now. You know, people when this first started happening, you know, people thought that folks were just making bad life choices, buying these nice new cars or whatever, whatnot, and delivering pizzas in them. Like, no, this was a doctor or a lawyer or somebody, you know, had a pretty decent job, but then they wound up losing their job. So they already got the mortgage. They already got the car payments. They already paying for their kids' tuition. The bills keep coming. So now they got to supplement with a second and a third job, man. All right. And these was super proud people were like, I don't need a second job. I drive a Mercedes, or you know, they do certain things like this, you know, or we buy at the Whole Food store. We only buy the best of the best food or whatever, whatnot. These same people are out there looking for we call these little food lines where they can go get, you know, a free food from, you know, where the people roll up and then they be handing out food or whatever, whatnot. They out there in those lines now, man. All right. Or you have You just have a lot of these different scenarios and stuff like that where these people are now in a different boat, where they was looking at the so-called poorer people, why they out on their boats every weekend or whatever, whatnot. Now they have to sell their boat just to put food on the table, man. All right, these now used to be proud people. They're all being brought low, It says the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. This is under the rulership of Esau. This is why the whole earth is defiled, man. He's changed everything that the Most High said to do in a righteous sense, That's going into the missiles. Let me go to verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languish, and all the merry heart do sigh. All right. Let me keep reading. It says, verse 8, the mirth of the tabret cease, and the noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp cease. All right. So now going into these, let me read verse 9 as well. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So you have this, the merry-hearted, the mirth of tabrets, and all these people that was laughing, and they go out to the club, go partying, hey, turn up, got the music beating or whatever, whatnot. They out there drinking some 1942, some expensive shit, partying it up, living their best life, posing for the gram and everything like that. But guess what? The clubs and all that stuff is all closed down. Ain't nobody going. And even if they were open, people don't really have that kind of money because they just lost every damn thing to be going out and go spending, a couple $100 every night of the week or whatever, whatnot on these type of things, man. All right. Now, you do have some places where the bars are open back up, but the people aren't in there, so-called turning up no more, man. They trying to get lifted up in these bars, man, because their spirits are being brought low, man. They sitting over there thinking like, damn, man, I just lost my job that I've been at for 20-something years, making great money. You know what I'm saying? I had this cush job where I was a boss and used to shit on people all the damn time. Now I got to go out here and work at McDonald's and shit. How can I go home to my family, my wife, and my kids, and so on and so forth, man? All right. So now we seen these people, people were upset that it was like, well, they closed down the church and they left the liquor stores open because that was essential. Yeah, they knew it was going to be essential because these people was going to be depressed, man. You see how these people bugging out here already, man. Think if they didn't have a so-called escapism to get through it, man, it'd be 1,000,000,000 times worse. All right. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There is crying for wine in the streets. All the joy is darkened and the mirth of the land is gone. The city is left desolation and the gates smitten with destruction. All right. So, hey, man, this is what's going on right now, man. The people are afraid of what's coming from on high, man. Oh, shit, another lockdown or whatever, whatnot. We got to go. Gun sales is going up. They're skyrocketing right now, man. Guns and alcohol and drugs right now, man. All right. Because people can't do the things when they had the liberty to do all these things and just go out and live freely or whatever, whatnot. They got used to that and it's all gone, man. They seeing that their future is gone, man, especially for these Edomites because they've always been in their heaven and living it always living it up or whatever, whatnot. You had the husband that went to work and his wife stayed at home. Like I was saying, the person at work, one of my customers at work was like this. The wife is a stay-at-home mom. She just raised the kids. She sit there playing around the house or whatever, whatnot, and so on and so forth. Hey, she's just playing house. The husband goes out, make enough money to buy them a nice big house and cars and everything that they want and everything like that. But now they got a sad face on a sad face on right now because why? They just basically told homeboy, hey, we're gonna have to let you go for right now. We might call you back in a month. And he's thinking, man, I gotta go find me another job. But see, you've been given that so-called white privilege that she was gonna get a cush job anyway, where you ain't really have to do nothing and just basically look over Jake, and Jake was gonna do all the work for you, and you was gonna get paid all the big bucks for it, where you can have multiple houses. A lot of these people have 2 and 3 houses, don't ever even live in the house. They got $1 million house that they only come to for a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Out the whole year. You got 2, 3 houses where you got a lot of Jake that's over here living with other folks and so on and so forth. Now you about to lose your job and now you have to come down to a smaller level. Like, damn, we had 3 big ass houses. Now we're living in an apartment. So this is all the things that's coming down the pipeline, man. And the stock market is a great indicator of how the finance, if you understand what the stock market is, basically just showing you how each company is doing right now, man. All right. And then we have those different types of like the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow. These are just different different groups of companies, more or less to say. You got like energy and technology, top 500, Fortune 5, top 500 companies or whatever, whatnot, so on and so forth, man. But they all on the downturn, which is showing you what the economic state of here in America, man, is going out the window, and these people are fearing, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say stay strong. Shalom.